Hey everybody, here's a look at the Corpus Christi lithium refinery plant.
Well, I'm back out here at the Tesla lithium plant near Corpus Christi, Texas. And as you can see, I'm on my way down to Starship Flight 9 out at Starbase, and took the opportunity to stop here and got some great views here early on the morning, and with the great light coming in just over the horizon as the sun rises, and some nice views all around the entire site, to the north on the east side, and also down next to the main plant itself. And of course you can see it right behind me, and this is very visible now from the highway no matter which direction you're coming, because the construction, the assembly continues. It is a very large structure and it pretty much dominates this entire area. Now, a few things that I did notice on the north end, that pond that was under construction and being lined the last time we were here back in March has got some water in it. It could be because of all the rains that have been coming through this area. Doesn't look like it's fully filled up, but it does have water in it. As we go over towards that main raw materials warehouse, or that place where they put all the Spodumene Concentrate-6 and then use the conveyor system, we can see on that south end that there is a new tent-like structure. Now this is near where we saw kind of loading ramps being installed last time we were here. So my presumption is that that tent is over those loading ramps on that end of the building, and this allows them to be able to unload the materials despite whatever the weather may be. Another thing that I did notice is that more vertically assembly is going on in that hydrometallurgical portion of the facility. They're also adding a lot more of the wall panels on those upper units, as you can see by some of these images as well. And I also saw them adding more beams on the roof structure of the tallest of those kind of enclosed box-like items in that area. Now, going over towards the end of the facility where we would have the lithium packaging, looks like a lot more of that work is completed, although it is still not fully enclosed. I'm a little bit surprised about that. And we go on to the other end at the pyrometallurgical portion where we see that rotating kiln and cooler. It looks like it's a lot more finished up, and we know that they've been doing some of the processing there of the at least that part of the processing for the spodumene concentrate. I'm not sure if the hydrometallurgical portion is operational yet, but it does look a lot more finished. Now, another thing I just want to point out again, for those who may not have been watching this, is this plant eventually is going to have two parallel processing lines, kind of mirror imaging of what you see right now. The focus has only been on this one side, and eventually, after they get this up and running, they will build the other side, and that will double the overall production capability. And so that is still coming along, and you know, I think we're almost in the summer, so we should see some sort of processing going on here, and hopefully some of those materials that output here will be headed up to Giga, Texas to go to the cathode plant up there for additional processing. But otherwise, a great opportunity to see what is going on here at the Corpus Christi lithium plant for Tesla. And I hope that you enjoy these updates and the ability to see what it looks like, at least today here at the end part of May 2025. So anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. So let's get in the video and see what the lithium plant looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. a great day to fly here at Tesla's Corpus Christi lithium plant. And this is a overview, kind of looking across the entire site. Now, just to sort of give you a frame of reference of what we're looking at, on the left-hand side of the screen with all of the structures, that's the first half of the plant, and down the middle with the kind of the tanks that you see between the plant on the left and that open field on the right is kind of the shared machinery and equipment. And where that field is where the second half will eventually be built. In the background, that large kind of warehouse structure is the raw materials processing plant. That's where Spodumene Concentrate-6 would be brought in, kind of managed, and then put onto these conveyor systems and then brought into the plant for refining. Now, at the bottom of the screen is sort of a kind of a pipe terminal system, some more of their workshops and kind of containers, and also where they have some equipment that is stored. The middle of the screen is where they have their offices, and also where that archway that says Tesla Lithium is located. Down the middle where you see that new kind of dirt on the road is the main access road that would connect into the frontage road just to the bottom of the screen outside the view of the drone. More of the parking on the right-hand side of the screen, and then you see the kind of ponds showing up coming in from the right-hand side of the screen as well. These are not for brine tanks that are part of the processing plant, and it's not part of the process at all for the lithium refining. This is just more for water storage and use around the entire site. Now, the smaller of the two ponds recently got the liner in, and we saw that on the previous videos, and I'll give you some closer views here in a moment. But this is a nice overall shot from this perspective for the plant, and on the left-hand side of the screen is that main highway that leads to Starbase, and that is the route that I'm headed to after this video to go see Flight 9 of the Starship. Now I'm going to continue to maneuver around on this north end and show you some more of the views, and then we'll resume the narration here momentarily. As I mentioned earlier, this is that newly lined pond that we saw under construction over the last couple of videos. That work seems to be completed now. There is some degree of water in there, but I think that's from some of the rains that we've had through the local area very recently. And Texas is having a pretty strong thunderstorm and rainy season this part of the year. Next to that pond, we see these Quonset huts. These have been here for some time. They are part of the warehousing and even some kind of workshops. They also have materials in this location. And in this general place that we see here in the middle of the screen is where the rotating kilns and coolers were originally assembled before they were installed at the plant. As I fly over the power lines, we can see kind of the access gate and security kind of guard shack down at the bottom left of the screen, and then you can come in to the main plant. The upper right is some more material staging, and today we have some large items that have been delivered, these silver items. I'm not sure exactly what they are. They're obviously being positioned for installation soon, and I haven't seen these before on the semi-completed part of the plant, so this may be just to finish up that. I don't know if this is related in any way with the second part of the plant or if it's that middle section that would be shared between the two halves. But this is a nice close-in view of what these items look like, and another one is being either delivered or tended to with that white truck at the top of the screen. And as I continue to maneuver around, this gives you a good view of where this is located in relation to the rest of the plant. Now, if you happen to know what these items are, that would be great if you would put the comments down in the video, and I would love to see what you think and what these might be, so I'd appreciate that. Some other deliveries with that white plastic wrapping at the bottom right of the screen. So I'm going to reposition back towards the middle part of the facility, and we'll take a closer look at some of the structures that have been built, and some of them also also are under operation now. Okay, I've kind of gotten a little bit closer to this location where we see some more of the materials, that blue and white on the bottom right, being stored. Some other items, maybe even some building materials or some of the infrastructure needed for construction in the right-hand side of the screen. And then in the middle is this large Quonset tent-like structure. This is one of the very first, if not the first, structures that was added to the facility before they started doing the main construction. And pretty much some other smaller trailers and that archway that I'll show you here in a moment that says Tesla Lithium was really the beginnings of all of this, and everything else has been built up in the last year and a half. Now, the middle section with all of those trailers is the current offices that Tesla uses because they don't have the main facilities completed yet. And those were put up several months after that groundbreaking that took place just about a year and a half ago. And I'm going to bring the drone in closer. We'll fly over some of the containers on the bottom of the screen. And also we see some earthworking equipment being positioned. Now I'm going to zoom in and give you some really close-in views of the structure of the plant itself. Now on the left-hand side, that structure is a part of the final processing where the lithium hydroxide would be packaged up and then shipped off to Giga Texas. In the middle section here where we see those tall structures and it looks like large boxes being assembled on the top of where the tanks and all of the pipe work is. That's the hydrometallurgical portion of the factory. This uses the kind of an aqueous mixture, some of those tanks, and a bunch of processes that take the output from the rotating kiln and cooler that you see coming in to view and continue to do that refining process. Now, this is the pyrometallurgical portion of the factory. We see a new tent, kind of that Quonset tent on the bottom left that has been added. A large control room looks like it is now completed in the center part of the screen. And as I continue to pan over, we see that raw materials processing facility with all of the conveyor systems that moves that spodumene concentrate-6 that is stored inside all along this route over to the entrance of that rotating kiln to begin the entire refining process. Coming into view at the middle of the screen is a new kind of small electrical substation that I noted on my previous video had been added in. And this is most likely just to ensure that the power is distributed throughout the factory as needed so that they can maintain all of the production. And there's a lot of energy that is required for especially that pyrometallurgical portion of that processing, but the entire plant does use a lot of energy, and I think that's why they have that new smaller substation that has been added in. Now, as I come back over towards this material staging yard, I'll show you some of the more of the materials that are stored here, along with these kind of structures at the bottom with that white wrapping. We see some containers, looks like maybe some sort of a conveyor system on the bottom left, and just a bunch of other materials that are being stockpiled here ready for installation. It's also a nice view across this kind of southern part of the factory and the plant. The land that you see on the right, especially with that large kind of pond that's empty right now, is all still part of the property that is owned by Tesla, in addition to the main area where we see the plant and well up to the north. So there's a lot of room for expansion. And over time, Tesla will be not only expanding the facility, but adding different capabilities for recycling and refining materials. Now, on the south end of the raw materials processing facility, we see this new tent. Now, in my previous video, they had some kind of ramps being in place, probably to unload some of the raw materials where that tent is, and they've added that in here since that last video, so over the last 2 months. And I do see some kind of ramps at the bottom center of the screen coming into view. I don't know if those are the same ones that were there or if these are just added ones, but for whatever reasons, they've kind of changed this delivery portion of that raw materials facility, as you see here. And a great view also of those conveyor systems that come out of that raw materials facility, bring all that material over, and then get it processed up on this large tower where that rotating kiln, kind of that rusty large cylinder, is located, begins that whole process. Now those rotating kilns and also the cooler on the right hand side of the screen coming to view are mounted on these very substantial structures and mounts. And then they have kind of a ring with a rotating structure and bearings that allow that to freely rotate as the processing is continuing. This is a great view in of the rest of the structure being assembled right now. From this vantage point looking to the north, you can see that those box-like structures, some of which are continuing to get the external wall panels installed, and the one coming up on the center right has been getting some what looks like beams or maybe some roof decking being installed right now. More materials on the ground, all getting ready for more assembly and probably just connections and preparing it for more operations. The other thing that I do notice on the bottom of the screen where you see kind of that dirt roadway, eventually there's going to be a rail spur that is going through that area that'll connect to the current railroad that is right below the drone. It runs along the frontage road, and it will allow them to help bring in more of that raw material over to that raw materials processing facility. Now, as I wrap around this side of the plant, looking across the entire installation of the first half of the plant, this gives you kind of a great view of how this all is coming together. And to give you a different perspective, I'll bring the drone up to a much higher altitude, kind of look straight down, a bird's eye view of how the whole structure comes together and what is it looking like. And it does look much more completed, much more mature than even 2 months ago. I think it's a great sign because from every indication that I have, as Tesla does want to get the processing underway this summer and get this entire part of the factory operational. And then I think they will do that for some time and just get a gauge of how everything is going before they start beginning building that mirrored section that would make this kind of a dual parallel processing facility. A nice view here down at that control room down at the bottom center of the screen, and also the rotating kiln and cooler, the towers, the conveyor system, the raw materials warehouse. And as I pan the drone up, just to look across the entire site from this vantage point. One more pass along the plant, and looking from the left side is the pyrometallurgical, the middle side is the hydrometallurgical processing, and then the side coming into view is that final packaging and processing part of the facility. A lot more tanks have been added. It looks like most of the ground slab work has been completed, and the work is just remaining on just finishing that superstructure. So I'm going to bring the drone up the view, showing you the horizon and across all of that land, most of which that you see in coming into view is a part of Tesla's property on the other side of the central highway. And as I continue to pull away, this gives you a great perspective of where all of this is located and kind of the size of this facility. And if you're driving down the road here, you'll see this with no problem whatsoever. So I hope you enjoy those views and this updated look at the Corpus Christi lithium plant.